you were enjoying that music as much as I was. Welcome to our May edition of the SRC Community Corner Live Forum, Building Safer Communities, Transforming Lives. I'm your host, Winsome Sharia-Witto, and we continue a powerful conversation that we started on the SRC Community Safety and Security Forum last Thursday, where the Clarendon Division highlighted two initiatives that they considered the most impactful for Q1 of 2025. And we're zoning in on those two initiatives in Clarendon this evening, NUH GVD and Project STAR, partnerships that are shaping and reshaping lives, reducing violence, and restoring hope in vulnerable communities. Our panelists are on the front line of these changes, and this evening we will hear their stories, strategies, and how we can all be a part of the movement, the changes that we want to see in our spaces. And now I ask you to help me make welcome for our first segment, Sergeant Leroy Chambers, Sub-Officer in charge of CSSB Clarendon Police Division, that's the Community Safety and Security Branch, and Romel Gordon, Project Officer of Project STAR Clarendon. Welcome, gentlemen.
Hey, thanks for having us. Thanks for having us with you, Mrs. Witto.
Thank you, pleasure to be here.
Always a pleasure. All right, so we are going to get started right away looking at the GVD, because St. Elizabeth thought the model is so good that they want to adopt it in the St. Elizabeth division. So pat yourself on the shoulder, Sergeant Chambers, and for all your teammates and the collaborating partners who made this a success. So let's get started. What inspired the launch of NUH GVD initiative in Clarendon, and why was a school tour selected as the primary mode of delivery? Getting a feedback here. All right, go ahead.
All right, thank you so much for that question. I want to also wish your viewers a pleasant evening as well. We wanted to be proactive in our policing efforts here in the Clarendon Division. So what we did was to take a look at the incidents involving our students. And what we observed as a common or recurring theme was that there were several incidents involving gang activity, they involve violence and drug usage. So what we did was to strategize how we could impact the students in a positive way by bringing awareness to these issues. And we thought what better than to bring it to where they were, and they are normally in the schools. So it was a no-brainer. We decided that we wanted to do a school tour to bring awareness to these issues. So we came up with the concept of NUH GVD, which simply translates to encouraging the students to say no to gangs, violence, and drugs. We also took the opportunity to improve the police and the student relationship, so that the students see the police in a positive light as opposed to oppressive. So what we did was to also include a component where we sensitize the students about the police youth club and being a part of the police youth club. And we also made efforts to where in schools that had students that were eligible that sat CXC exams already, we took the names of persons who were interested in becoming members of the constabulary force as well.
Wow. Now I understand, because it was not just about giving them information, but actually positioning them to make that kind of transition. And a number of schools, interesting, they're having their careers day today. So they would have another, if they didn't even think about it before, another option to consider. Fantastic. All right, Romel, Project STAR was a big part of the tour. Tell us about the Project Star's role in this NUH GVD school tour, and what stood out most about the interaction with students for you? Unmute, go ahead and unmute.
Good night, viewers. For us at Project Star, it was right up our avenue in terms of violence prevention and the violence prevention activities that we are doing in the space. JCF is one of our major partners. When they had approached us to join the school tour, it was simply a no-brainer, as Sergeant Chambers has said, to support the proactive approach of the police with stemming violence within the schools. As you know, youth are the major perpetrators and victims of crime. Whilst they wanted to show a soft side as relates to the police and that kind of community engagement and that kind of social arm to the police, what Project Star brought to the table was some equipments to support the school tour. And we also brought in a facilitator to empower and encourage the persons, the youth within the school system to deviate from crime. So I think the first year when we went to the school tour, our approach even shocked the police. Even shocked the police the first day. We went in our normal work attire. Then we change off and look like some bad boy, and then we start presenting them with the information and breaking on information and the data for them to understand the impact that they have with negativity in the school, in the wider community, and at large, Jamaica. And then after which we then put the information to say to them that if it's that you guys put a more positive approach to your personal development, what kind of positive impact that would have in the community, in the school, and a better Jamaica. And then it just blossomed from that. The police liked it, the school liked it, and we just had to keep on continuing supporting the school tour. We giving that kind of empowerment, motivation, kind of talks, and also providing equipments and other resources to the police to deliver the campaign. Because it was just a good initiative, trust me. To be inside the room, to hear the young people, even when they saw the transformation in front of their eyes, when some of our staff took off their shirts, the shirt and tie, and with the baggy pants, and and presenting the date and using their jargons, their language, well, it was well received. While the police but they were still in the uniform, so you don't understand. So they were impressed by us at Project Star as to how we see that kind of positive change, with crime reduction and the approach that we took. It just resonate with the police, resonate with the audience, meaning the school teachers, the so-called upcoming dance, the little kid in the classroom that is getting bullied, and then just that mix and our impact in terms of just mixing the pattern and letting everybody to come on one platform to say we are going to the negative behavior and move to that of a positive one. And I just want to say thanks to Sergeant Chambers for giving Project Star, Maple with Team, the opportunity to be a part of that camp.
Fantastic. Amazing. I love that. I love that, Romel. And I'm smiling because I saw, and we'll see in a little while, the viewers will see in a little while, because when I saw the video recap, and I know that you explain it, I'm getting the outfit. You'll see that in a little while. All right, so Sergeant Chambers, Project Star was not the only partner that you had there. How did the partnership with Project Star and other stakeholders help to strengthen the reach and impact of the tour?
All right. So here in Clarendon, we try to maintain a positive relationship with the various stakeholders to bolster our crime fighting efforts, in an effort to build safer communities for residents and safer schools for our students. To share some of our partners, our stakeholders in this particular initiative, it included Restorative Justice, who aided in conflict resolution, CPFSA, that's Child Protection Family Service Agency. They also spoke about child care and abuse. We had the Child Diversion Program, which brought awareness to the program itself. We had the National Council on Drug Abuse that brought awareness to drug abuse and the various types of drugs and how the different impact that it has on persons. We also had Youth Innovation Center, that's the YIC, who brought energy in terms of youthful engagement. We found creative ways to engage our students, and they provide some guidance in that aspect. Project Star, as you mentioned, Romel gave a fitting description of the interaction there. We had CSS Area 3 as well as CSS HQ on board as well. So the various partners came on board to provide different expertise in the various areas, and they also offered real life situations. They provided facts and figures, and just helped to create that all around awareness to the different components of the program. So having the partners on board helped to create that solid impact that we wanted, relevant to each topic or each theme that we identified.
Fantastic. And that's one of the awesome things I love about Clarendon, I must say, in terms of the level of collaboration that takes place in this space. And that's where you get the real impact. And I'm always happy to bring you all in this space so that others can learn about the awesome things that's happening in this space. So let's take a look at what went on the school tour. All right. I was able to spot several of the agencies, the schools. So for those who are with us live, if you were able to spot any of those agencies, except for those with the banners, let us hear in the comments. Fantastic. Now I understand the short pants, Romel. Amazing. All right. As we prepare to round out, all right, Zika Brown over on Facebook. Big up to Mr. Gordon and Sergeant Chambers. Indeed, you have been doing a great job in Clarendon. Thank you for that, Sir Brown. Thank you for tuning in. Our parish manager for the Heart Trust NH. Oh Lord, I always mess that one up. Our Trust in Clarendon. X Factor, always great to have you. Yes, it's a good look indeed. Audley Barnes, good night to you. Sharoni, big up to the team indeed. All right, as we round out this first segment, Sergeant Chambers, what kind of continued support would you like to see from stakeholders and the wider community that would help the police to expand the NUH GVD initiative?
All right, so we would like to continue to benefit from the various expertise being provided from the different stakeholders um, to as we seek to interact with some more schools, widen the amount of school that we interact with. We also want to encourage them to share the success story with their various counterparts in other parishes so that the message of GVD can be shared across the various parishes to bring awareness to the issues so that we can create a safer space for our students to be a part of. So the fundamental purpose for their being at school, which is learning, can take place in a safe, comfortable environment.
Fantastic. And I must say, I saw one of our school resource officers over there at Foga Road. And for those who missed the Community Safety and Security Forum last Thursday, I'm happy to report that we're getting additional school resource officers. So I know that a number of schools have been asking about that. So that's a big thing for Clarendon 2025. Well, not just Clarendon, Area 3 and other areas, but we're zoning in on Clarendon this evening. Thank you so much, Sergeant Chambers. Don't go anywhere. We'll bring you on back in a little while. But let's now make way for Sharise Appleby, Project Star.
Hi.
Welcome, Sharise.
Hi, Winsome. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure. All right. So Project Star is driving community transformation across Jamaica. But for this community corner, we're zoning in on Clarendon so that we can get as much information as possible as to what's really going on there. So let's start with you, Sharise. Because Project Star has been working in this space in Clarendon for over a year now.
Oh, yes.
Like just the other day.
Yes, it does.
Yes. So for our viewers who do not know much or want to learn more about STAR, tell us a little bit about the organization.
Thank you, Winsome. So good evening again, everyone. For those who do not know, Project STAR is a national social and economic initiative that was spearheaded by the private sector organization of Jamaica in partnership with the Jamaica Constabulary Force. And we focused on addressing the root causes of social issues in vulnerable and volatile communities. Currently, we are working in 5 communities throughout Jamaica. In Kingston, we are in Parade Gardens and Rose Gardens. We're in Savannah Lamar in Westmoreland, Salt Spring in St. James, and right here in your hometown of Maypen, Winsome, we serve the communities of Racetrack, Pennantwood, Treadlight, and Havana Heights.
All right. And I remember like it was yesterday when you all came down and went on the various tours and did that launch and the community came out and I saw the questions and persons were there asking questions about what the program is going to do for them and all those good stuff. So let's hear some more about it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's understandable. You know, we do wide engagements because we believe, team, that by working together, we can transform Jamaica into a place where everyone is valued and has the opportunity to thrive. And therefore, partnerships, for example, much of what would have been said by Sergeant Chambers and Romel as well, are a key part of our holistic approach to achieve sustainable transformation in our community. JCF team in Maypen and with other ministries, departments, and agencies such as the Social Development Commission, the Ministry of Labor and Social Security, along with others. We have been working together with all these stakeholders to coordinate and implement a number of programs and initiatives in the space over the last year, Winsome, in an effort to engage the residents in a meaningful way, but also, most importantly, to increase their access to critical social services especially to improve their lives. Much of what was just referred to in the program that was particularly geared at our at-risk youth, the NUH GVD, which the GVD, for those who don't know, represents, gangs, violence, and drugs. Being an organization that is community-led and community-driven, we would have engaged in Maypen in particular over the last year and a half, over 3,000 residents and stakeholders in ongoing consultations and dialogue, right? That is our community transformation boards, or ministries, departments, and agencies of government, as I would have mentioned, or community-based organizations such as our PYCs, that's our police youth clubs, or youth clubs in general, or sports teams, or community groups, or NGOs, or churches, or schools, and the private sector as well, through our town hall meetings, or corner reasonings, or focus group discussions. Why did we do all of that? To develop a series of action items that aim to really bring about the change that the residents want to see in their community. And all of that would have been documented in what we call the Community Transformation Action Plan. So much of the initiatives would not be something that we would have sat in a room or our office at Project Star would have come up with all by ourselves, because that would be against the heart of our approach. But it's really the residents in Maypen West, the communities that I would have mentioned earlier, that would have said, or that would have indicated that these are our issues, these are our priorities, and these are the programs that need to be put in place in order to address the root causes of the issues that we're facing. And some of those issues, I might add, would be poor mindset and value systems, high levels of unemployment, limited training opportunities, poor parenting, and the list could go on. And so in response to that, the residents themselves would have indicated that the programs or initiatives that they would want to see to address the root causes of those issues would be parenting programs, strengthening of governance structures, personal development and sports initiatives, employment, entrepreneurship, strategic investment initiatives, civil documentation, psychosocial and counseling support, and the list could go on. So for the last year and a half, we have been very busy with engaging the residents, doing the consultations, having the dialogue, so that we could reach to this point.
Fantastic. A whole lot going on there. And
yes.
You haven't even scratched the surface.
Yeah.
I know there was so much more. At just a moment, as we recognize this looks like JP, what's not, Sharoni is saying that the STAR team always shines bright. Big up Maypen West, big up Project Star. All right. Hi, Asha Gay from over there in Langville Park. I take it as the PYC PRO, remind us. All right, big up the team, Morris Morgan there. All right, so let's bring Romel into this segment of the conversation. Romel, beyond the school tour, walk us through other interventions you have done and will be implemented, particularly those targeting unattached youth.
Okay, Ms. For the period June 2023 to May 2025, we have done a lot. Simple say, we have done a lot. We have done a lot of community consultations, and what those community consultations did for us was to redefine the root causes, the issues that we need to tackle. We then sat with the community and we developed different strategies and different approaches as to how they would want to see the implementation of these strategies and programs within their community. Each community is unique, and each community has a unique way that they want to see community transformation, community development, and more so move them from a space of negative to a space of positive. Mentioned was on the high level of employment. STAR sat with the community and developed an employment program where we are training persons in job readiness. From that, we have placed over 50% of those persons in work, so they can give, so they are gainfully employed. we sat with them again. One of the issues that came up was there are a lot of business spaces in the community, small shops, bars, and that sort of thing, and nobody was doing anything for them. So what we did, we came up with a small business nano grants program, which targeted them in terms of building out their businesses so that they can achieve greater impact and within this space for themselves to better able to take care of their families and to build the community in a positive way. As it relates to unattached youth, there's an unattached youth grant that Project Star also gives to the community. What we do, we target youth, the unattached youth, bring them in for a 2 weeks course in business model development, where we sit with them, come up with business ideas, and somewhat build out those business ideas and give them a seed funding to start their small business. It is all hope at Project Star for these unattached youth to not see crime, not see violence as a way out, but see having a business, developing that business, and being gainfully employed from that business as the way out, as relates to being financially secure. So we sat with them, we had discussion. That was what came out of the discussion, and we at Project Star implemented that effort. On the social side, as Ms. Appleby mentioned, teenage pregnancy, parenting. So we have done a lot with the partners. So the CFPFSA, SDC, DRF, we have done a lot with partners. But the one I wish to speak about today is our community hubs that we have within the spaces. The residents are saying when we admit that there are a lot of agencies out there, the time period we get through at the different agencies, the barrier, the barrier in terms of the language, just there may head space as to where they are, because a lot of them are facing trauma because of the violence in the space, that sort of thing. So they said to us, how best can we at Project Star support them in getting these agencies in the community? So we then sat, we had a discussion, and we came up with what we call the community hubs. At these community hubs, we find a central location. Central location means central for the community members, because a lot of these communities are large. For persons who don't know Clarendon, they are large communities, they are big spaces. So we find a central location that is accessible to all, and we listen from the issues that we have listened to. So if it's teenage pregnancy, we bring in Ministry of Health. If it's something there's a high percentage of drug usage, we try to bring the drug funds. So whatever the issue is, we try to bring that agent to the space in the simplest open a bank account. We find our sponsor, we find our different partners, or we try to bring a financial institution within the space so they can access these services. So in a nutshell, that is some of the activities that we are currently doing. I just want to also say we are currently now in planning for year 4. So there's not a lot of activities happening now, but I just want to mention a few that will be rolling out shortly as we close off year 3 to enter into year 4. One, we hope to support the police. We're launching of 3 police youth clubs within the spaces. 2, launch a mentorship program. The police have indicated to us that they want to somewhat keep this mentorship program on in terms of mentoring the unattached youth, in terms of keeping them on the safe track, in terms of positive development. We want to continue with our community hubs. We want to continue with our nano grants program, but we also want to foster training for some of our CBO leaders in mediation and restorative justice facilitation. So that's what we have been. So those are some of the major highlights for us since 2023 to date, to which we have seen great results from in terms of minor behavior change. I won't say major, that's a short period of time, but in terms of response to police interaction and in terms of the violence within the space. And Sergeant Chambers will tell us that our space has seen a decline since Project Star has been in the space and implementing these programs. And also to expect from us in short order, not to be limited to but those are the items that we have planned for the rest of this year, or the plan for year 4. So just look out for us. Look out for us within the space of Havanites, look out for us in the space of Trendlight, look out for us in the space of Racetrack, and also Penagud. We are friendly faces. We are ready to partner. We are ready to listen to issues, and we are ready to act on those issues to come up with meaningful solutions. And we hope to continue to partner with wider Clarendon and their different initiatives. Thank you, Mr. Leader.
Thank you. And even before I met Romel, I've heard about Romel in the project space. And that's been many years ago, always working on the ground. And you'd hear Romel speak a lot about grassroots engagement. He was the project coordinator, I believe, for the project that the Chamber of Commerce spearheaded back in 2020. So I know, Romel, that you are amazing at what it is that you do. And you're the best person, I believe, to speak on this. What makes Project STAR's approach to community transformation in Clarendon effective and relatable?
Thank you for that question, Mrs. Witter. It is personal for me. It is personal for me, and I'll tell you why. I've been working on projects as of 2025, 2005, sorry. So I've been in this space for some time, as you had mentioned. And when Project STAR came on board, I was out of the project sphere. I said, I'm not doing any more projects again. And this is what makes Project STAR different. Project STAR actually listen to the people on the ground that are faced with the issues. Sit with them, build out solutions, break the information down so that they can understand it. So they can understand it and own the different programs and activities as if it's their own. And it's through the discussion, it's through the dialogue, it's through that breaking down of the information that they can own it as their own, and that is what makes Project STAR as unique as it is. It puts the community and the individual at the center of development. Let me tell you, in each of our spaces, there is not one program, there is not one activity that I can't find an individual or a group of individuals that didn't have some kind of input into the solution, didn't have some kind of say into what we were doing. Probably you could say the unpick even the staff. The community even unpick the staff. The unpick whatever, and we just guided them. We just break down the information. And because Project STAR puts the community at the center of our development, that's what makes Project STAR unique.
Fantastic. And I love the you'd call that 360-degree approach, because you go in and it's not a one-size-fits-all. So if there's challenges with entrepreneurship, that is tackled, the social concern, all those little root causes. And that's something that I really love. And the collaboration in terms of reaching out to, because I remember that the team had reached out for businesses to come on board in terms of your job readiness exercise. So the community was a part of everything, and the wider community, even outside of the space that you're working in. And I think that too had added benefit to the program. All right, as we round out this segment, putting the spotlight on Project STAR, but can we put any more light on the star? It's already shining bright. All right, share with us, Romel, a real story or moment that demonstrates the impact of Project STAR, either on an individual or a community group in Clarendon.
All right, thank you for the question again, Ms. Witter. It was late 2023. We had just completed nano grants training with 11 unattached youth. These youth were, after the analysis of each individual, they were at a breaking point. They were at a breaking point where they were considering different acts of violence. um, through our community walkthroughs, through our one-on-one corner reasoning, through referrals from the JCF, from the data that we had gotten. We had targeted these individuals and we brought them into the Project Star space, had a discussion with them, had a conversation with them, got their buy-in as to building out the businesses and building out the business idea as to what they want to do instead of turning to violence. All 11 started, 11 completed, 11 accessed the grant, and 11 persons are still on the straight positive path as it relates to their individual development as being positive contributors within their community space, whether it be to just provide some guidance or to provide resources to someone else, to lift up someone else in the community from where they were once. So that for me has been very. That's for me was one of the most impactful things that I've seen in the space thus far. Those 11 young men, let me tell them, man, when I hear their stories, and to know that they are still here, they are still going through what they are going through, but at the end of the day, they're still sticking to their decision that we are Project Star that sit with them and to help foster, with them turn away from violence and channeling their energies in their different businesses and reaping greater results.
Fantastic, amazing. And if you're here with us live and you have experience with the work of Project Star in the communities, feel free to share in the comments, or if you have questions, feel free to ask your questions in the comments and we'll be happy to take those. And if you're watching the replay and you have commendations, comments, please leave them as well on YouTube, because the Facebook is for a limited time. The live will only stay there for about 30 days, I believe it is now. So for YouTube, go on over and leave your comments there. Let's bring back on Sergeant Chambers and Sharise into the discussion. Sharise, adjust your screen. Thank you. All right. Good night, Nadine, Laura. We have Latoya Coleman Morgan, bigging up Romel, X Factor. Always great to have you, as I mentioned earlier. Thank you so much for tuning in and participating in the comments. So let's have a moment of reflection here. Sharise, if people want to learn more or get involved with the work of Project Star, how can they make contact and stay abreast of all the awesome things that's happening?
Thank you so much, Winsome. So, of course, our slogan is everybody forward, right? Because we want everybody to be involved in the process of shaping and transforming our communities and our country at large. And so if anybody wants to learn more about the work of Project Star or to get involved in the work of Project Star, you can find us on all major social media platforms at Project Star JA, or you can visit our website at projectstarja.com. And of course, you can reach out to myself and Romel, our Sergeant Chambers, and you will be able to reach us as well.
Fantastic. All right. So Andrea Archibald is saying that Project Star is a good thing that come to Havana Heights. All right. Is it height or height?
Havana Heights.
It's height?
Mm-hmm. It's height. It's not
just,
high. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just want to make sure that I'm getting it correct. All right. Thank you so much for sharing that, Andrea. Because I know we have a number of, when it's not Havana, it's Savannah. Right. So it's always great to learn the names of the different communities in the space. Right. But I remember there's a team that you all initially, that team still meets on a quarterly basis where you have different voices at the table other than the project team.
Are you referring to our community transformation board, or are you referring to our community intervention team? There are two separate governance structures which we would have established.
Tell us a little about that in brief. So
both of them,
understand, right, how it's actually working behind the scenes.
Not a problem. Governance is key for us to sustainable development. You know, the work that we do in this space, Romel would have spoken to a number of the initiatives and the impact of the initiatives. We would have seen projects start and would have stopped, and the work would have been discontinued. We want to ensure that the work that Project Star would have started in the Mapen West communities will continue even beyond Project Star. And so governance is a key part of that. And so we would have established two main governance structures within the space, not just in Mapen West, but in all our communities. But in Mapen West in particular, the one that involves the representatives from the local community would be our Community Transformation Board. And this board meets on a monthly or bi-monthly basis at the Treadlight Primary School. It has representatives from all three communities that would have been mentioned earlier: Treadlight, Havana Heights, and Racetrack Penantwood. Representatives which would include your community-based organizations, your PYCs, your citizen associations, your community development committees, the churches, the schools, the local business stakeholders. And these representatives meet and they identify the issues that are affecting the space. They prioritize the issues, and most importantly, they determine what initiatives need to be put in place to address those issues. I would have mentioned earlier that this would have been documented in the Community Transformation Action Plan. So the process would have been led by the members of the Community Transformation Board. And then we have a higher level governance structure known as our Community Intervention Team. And that team has representatives from the JCF, Project Star, along with the Social Development Commission. And we meet on a bi-monthly basis, and we look at what is happening in the space as it relates to social and security, and we devise a strategic action plan around how it is as agencies we are going to effectively engage the communities, how we are going to improve community police relationships, and how we are going to ensure that the people are adequately served and their needs are addressed.
Fantastic. It's always great to hear how things work behind the scenes. So the community really know that, and see we have testimonies coming in. Big up to the Treadlight representatives, which means that they are working. They are actually representing. Thank you, Laura, for that contribution. Ricardo, as commendation, great work to the CSSB and Project Star team. For those who are not familiar with the term, CSSB is Community Safety and Security Branch, and that's the branch that our Sergeant Leroy Chambers is in charge of. He's the sub-officer in charge of the Community Safety and Security Branch in Clarendon. All right, so as we prepare to round out Community Corner for the month of May 2025, let's hear from each of you. What message would you like to share with our viewers about how they can help build safer communities and support youth transformation? Let's start with Romel, then Sharise, and then Sergeant Chambers. Unmute and go ahead, Romel.
Thank you, Mrs. Vita. All right, so how can you support us with positive community transformation? It's simple put. We have to take it as an us, or as my problem or my issue. It's a crisis right across Jamaica, and no one knows the solution for any given issue more than the person who is most impacted by that issue. With that being said, I'm saying put yourself in the different positions. Think about it, sit and think about it, and then make persons aware of the different solutions you come up with. It's a whole-away approach. And just start having these conversations within your household, with the family members, having a conversation with the persons or organizations that you come across, and having that conversation at the international level, or at the local level, or the national level. Where I sit at Project Star is at the community level. Come and have that conversation with me. Come and tell me how we can make Clarendon, make Mapen better. and let us see how best we can plan and coordinate efforts to achieve that objective. Because we are seeing a downward trend in crime, or we really want to keep it down. But it's not only getting rid of the different dons or getting that hard kind of policing, but it has to take a mindset change. And that's where the greatest impact can be made. And how we can create that mindset change is it's a whole-away approach. And unless we can make that whole-away approach in terms of us sitting down individually, coming up with solutions, sitting as a group or as a team, and wherever we have that our little voice. And I'm saying, you can always reach out to me, Romel at projectstarja.com. Come to our office at 24 Muir Avenue. Come and sit with me. Let us have the conversation. See what kind of resources we can muster, whether individually or from where I sit as project officer, or where you sit as a community member, and have that impact within the different spaces, and just do that whole-away approach as it relates to positive development in our community spaces. I think it's the last time I will speak, so I just want to thank my team, Sharoni, Clifton, Jennifer, Lataya. I just want to thank you. You guys are awesome. The star wouldn't be able to shine bright in Clarendon without you and the level of work that you put in the night, the days, the weekend. And I just want to say thanks to you and thanks to your family member for allowing you to do the kind of positive work that you do within this space.
Oh, that's a nice little icing on the cake right there. Great job, Romel. Go ahead, Sharise.
All right, so I would firstly want to say to local residents that they should first be the change that they want to see. Development is not going to happen with any one person or one entity. It is going to take everybody being willing to bring their voice to the table, bring their skills set, bring their resources to the table. Likewise, for agencies, we have to and the collaboration, bring all the minds to the table so that we can get it done. And it is only then that we'll be able to truly transform our communities, transform Jamaica, and really make Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business.
Well said. And before you go, Sergeant Chambers, we have a good thing going on with the Havana Heights Parenting Club. This club brings back the love within the community thanks to Project Stars and the partners. Signed, Latoya Coleman Morgan. All right. She is so convinced and she's putting her name, her full legal name behind it. All right. And I'm sure Romel and Sharise endorsing this message. Thank you so much for sharing, Mrs. Morgan. All right. Before you respond, Sergeant Chambers, tell us a little more about this slogan, and then you get into your wrap up. Gang is a dead end, badness a madness, gang life equals no life. Tell us a little about that, and then you take it away.
All right. This slogan was coined by one of our very own, Sergeant McAlpin from the CSS HQ, and we used it along the tour. So, looking at it, gang is a dead end. There's only one way out of a gang, and it's in most cases you'll end up dead. We want them to know that if you take up badness, if you really stop and look at it, it will be equated to madness. It doesn't make sense because at the end of the day, they end up dead or you end up in a prison cell. And obviously, we know that gang life equal no life, you'll also be dead. So we encourage our students to stay positive and seek to prosper in terms of the academic exploit. I think Sharise might be a little, and Romel might be a little bit privy to or have some insight as it relates to my thoughts. I want to take the opportunity to big up CSS team Clarendon They have been tremendous in terms of supporting the various initiatives that we have going throughout the parish, right across the parish. In this particular initiative, I want to say kudos and big up to the SROs assigned to the Clarendon division in terms of meeting the students where they are. And also to our stakeholders, our partners, I want to thank them very much for being on board and supporting the initiative for it to be as successful as it is. Sharise also mentioned that we should be the change that we want to be, to see, and I endorse that very, very, very strongly. In addition to that, though, I want to say that it is a well-known philosopher uh, also said that the only thing that is necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men, and that also include women, to sit and do nothing. So the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men and women to sit and do nothing. So to this end, I am encouraging persons in the various communities to get involved, partner with the various agencies, community groups. We have a number of police youth clubs right across the space, right across the parish. Get involved. We have neighborhood watches as well. And to this end, if you see something happen or happening in your community, don't be afraid to share it with the police so that we can respond in a positive way and treat with whatever situation that might arise. Let us not wait until something arrives at our doorsteps before we decide to take action, or take action when it is too late. So to that end, I will encourage all persons to get on board, partner with us, partner with the various community groups, build safer communities.
Fantastic. And you rounded out very similar to the Area 3 or Area 3 CSSB last week in terms of not sitting around doing nothing until it gets to your doorstep. So it's great that you're all on the same page. And with that being said, let's take Laura Paris' prayer that God's blessings be on you all. Keep doing what you all are doing for our communities. And Asha Gale has been trying to get her friend Sergeant Chambers' attention for the longest while. So let me bring it on screen. And she said here to keep up the good work. Romario Duffus, Romario, welcome. Good work, CSSB and Project STAR, impactful initiatives. Good job. All right, powerful empowerment. Shout out to you, Sergeant Chambers. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's always great to share these virtual flowers, because I know you all are doing some hard work, but it is fulfilling and rewarding work. And so, but the encouragement sweetens the labor. And we want to continue to encourage you to keep on doing what you're doing. And we love what is happening. The figures trending down. And again,
Definitely.
if you missed the figures last week that was shared for Area 3, Clarendon, St. Elizabeth representatives were in the space. If you don't want to sit and watch the 1 hour discussion, don't worry. We break it all down for you in a blog recap. So go on over to the Current Resource Connector website and grab the link, and you can see the recap of all the discussions that we have had in this space since January 2025 when we launched the website. So all the recaps are there for the different segments. And this, nonetheless, you're going to be getting a recap for this one as well. So you want to stay tuned. If you're not yet subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, because we love to bring these kinds of positive engagements to the Sorrento Resource Connector space. And Romel mentioned that this space is grassroots space. We keep it community. So whatever you hear here is community, whether community or the wider community. For community safety and security, we go Area 3, but still community focus. All right, Morris Morgan, bigging up Sergeant Chambers, or Lati. All right. All right, thank you so much. You see what I'm talking about? It's community. Boss lady, Mrs. Appleby. Oh, Lord, thank you so much, Sergeant Chambers, Sub-Officer in charge of the CSSB for Clarendon Division, Sharise Appleby, and Romel Gordon, Team Project Star. Thank you for the insightful and enlightening discussion just now. You refreshed my memory on a number of things, and I've been following Project Star from day one. So I'm sure there are persons that are with us live, and those who will be watching the replay will be learning some things for the first time, and will be saying that I didn't know it's so much that they're doing. But guess what? We've been reminded that real change takes courage, commitment, and collaboration. That's a big part of what you've been hearing here this evening. So from breaking the grip of violence to opening doors of opportunities, as Project Star has outlined, Clarendon is showing that transformation is possible. And we want to ensure that now that we have gotten the information, that we get involved, as Sergeant Chambers indicated, as the Project Star team indicated. It's not just about getting the information, but getting involved. Who do you know in the space that can benefit from what's happening here? And how else can you get involved? Through mentorship, advocacy, or simply spreading the word. It's just a click of the button to share this link so others can get access to the information, so they can reach out to Romel and others to get the support that they need. Remember that your support matters. It's all of it. It's not just one person or just a Project Star team. It takes all of us to make the change and see the change that we want to see, to make the Clarendon, your community, the Jamaica that we want to see. It's going to take all hands on deck. So everybody forward. And let's continue building safer communities and transforming lives together. So thank you again for those who are with us live, those who are watching the replay, and we will see you next time. Next forum will be on Tuesday. We have our early childhood or little people, well, not little people, but those responsible for the little people will be in this space, reminding us that our children's voices matter. And we're going to be hearing from them on Tuesday at 8 p.m. before we move on over to Thursday for our local governance and community development segment. Thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for joining us. Have yourselves a fantastic rest of the night.
The SRC Community Corner Live Forum is brought to you on third Thursdays at 8 p.m. Visit our website at www.serenityresourceconnector.com and subscribe to receive our weekly blog post. Join us again on Thursday at 8 p.m. for our local governance live forum with the Clarendon Municipal Corporation. Thank you for watching.